Hey, it's your boy Jordan. Thank you guys for coming back to Kentucky Plant Daddy. And today's video is going to be a general October updates video. I'm going to take you around to all my plants and show you who's growing, who's not growing, where they're at, and kind of what situation that they're in. So if you guys want to get an update on all my plants, then stick around for the next few clips. Okay guys, so here is one of my plant stands, and this shelf here has like a ton of propagations on it. These are majestics that I'm waiting to root out. There's a little pink princess philodendron. These cuttings of the Hoyas are about to be ready to be potted up. This Alocasia Jacqueline is putting out a new leaf. This, I don't know if this is dragon scale or what, but it's like, no one's ID'd this plant for me yet, but it's putting like this, some sort of growth point out. The black velvet Alocasia is putting a growth point out. The Aslania is putting a growth point out. Both of these Syngoniums have put out some roots. They're just not quite ready yet. And here is my Rhaphidophora decursiva. It's getting ready to put a new leaf out. So this is like the propagation shelf, just because I like it, how close it is to this light. Down here, I have my Monstera Aria. This was the first leaf that it put out in my care. This is the second leaf coming now. I bought it as a one leaf cutting here. So far, I'm very happy with this Monstera Aria. This is my Monstera variegated Adansonia. It is albo variegated. And so like the only problem that I'm running in with it so far is that like, as sometimes this new growth comes in, the bottom leaves tend to start, like you see how there's like a little bit of yellowing there. And then this leaf is kind of curling here, which I'm fine with. I mean, plants can't be perfect, but I am noticing it on this plant. I think that once it roots into the pole better, it might do better. But so far there's only like this little bit of rooting going on. So like here and here. But like I said, I think that once it gets better rooted into the pole, it will start acting better. And then down on the bottom, I just have like some prop boxes and then these Thai Constellation cuttings that I have in stratum. I think that they've both have put out a root already for me, but they're not like ready to pot up. And here's a little wet stick that the growth point is kind of popping off on. I can't see roots yet, but on this other one, oh, those are just majestic wet sticks. I don't know what's happening. On this one, like, can you guys see that like root through the, yeah, right there. So I think that wet stick is going to be a success. So I'm like excited about it. These are the propagations. Okay, so here's the updates on this shelf. The Veitchii has a little growth point there, but no major action. And then my Pallettiflorum has grown like a beautiful leaf, and it's got like a little leaf situation happening there. So hopefully that unfurls okay. The angel wing begonia is not doing like the most, but it still exists. Here's my tortum. It does have a lot of like good roots going on, and I have it in this tree fern fiber pole, so hopefully it'll root in there, but no crazy growth for the tortum yet. I potted up this Anthurium. I've ID'd it as a truncacola. I'm not sure. There's the growth point on it, and I put this in a Lecapon mix. My Gloriosum here is looking pretty, and it's got a leaf coming in there and there. So hopefully those will be some beautiful leaves on this gloriosum. The side of it is my Monstera dubia, looking pretty much the same. Here is my Philodendron Narrow. Since I've talked about this Philodendron Narrow, I have transitioned it from soil to leca, and this is the first leaf that it's putting out for me. I do kind of have a hunch that this leaf is going to be kind of wonky, so I might eventually just cut it, but we'll have to see first. White Princess Philodendron with a new leaf here. Not the most pretty leaf, but we'll see once it hardens off. And then the Jesenia pothos, which is beautiful. I think I'm gonna really like this pole. This vine is like the one that's grown the tallest so far, but this leaf is on a second vine. So I think it's gonna fill out this little midsection really nicely. Okay, so here's what the Cebu Blue is looking like. It's sizing up well, and I can't wait till it has its first fenestrations. It's kind of giving like baby fenestrations. Can you guys see that? And then like if you look at the new leaf, like it's got more of those baby fenestrations. And I love the size of these leaves. It's gonna be one of my favorites, I can tell. Also one of my favorites, my Mandula pothos has just grown so nicely from this like little bit of cutting situation that I had. And the leaves are just sizing up and they've been so beautiful. So I'm really liking this Mandula pothos pole. Here is the Soderoy that I potted up on this pole whenever I did the Q&A. And if you guys can see, little growth point there, looks like a little leaf is gonna emerge. Also down here is new to my collection. This is a Splendid. I got it as a single leaf cutting. This was the original leaf. It's got some damage on it, but this is my first leaf in my care, and then it's not like attached to the pole or anything, but I started it on a moss pole as well. Here is my Strawberry Shake, who has just put out a new leaf. So we're gonna wait and let that harden off and see what kind of color scheme we got there. Behind it is my Enjoy versus like Pearls of Jade that I have on a pole, and it's starting to root in. Here's my Neon pothos that I have the big bushy one downstairs. This is cuttings from it, and I started it on a pole. Here is my tricolor red spot Syngonium. It has a lot of pink, so worried about her. I don't think I've like showed you guys this plant. I got it as a one leaf cutting, I think. It is Adansonia aria. I think I have shown it here, but not like with nicer leaves on it. So it's, I gotta put more moss in this pole, but I'm gonna have it on a pole as well. Then here is my Pinata Marble. It's got like fenestrations here. There's one there too. The fenestrations so far are just on this one side, which I'm okay with. I'm kind of wanting like the size to size up, but so far this is what we got. Here is another White Princess. This leaf is probably like the most beautiful leaf I've gotten out of these plants. This leaf was really pretty too, but it's got a little bit of damage there on the end, and it's looking cute. Eventually I'm gonna get rid of this one or the other one. I can't decide yet. Finally, this Panatum Albo started to grow. So I bought it as this one leaf cutting, and then it put that leaf out after a few weeks. It was really tiny. It took forever to get this leaf here, and then very quickly after, this leaf started to come in. So we'll see what that looks like soon. And then my Albo Syngonium. This leaf right here is the oldest leaf and it's starting to yellow a little bit, but the rest of it's looking pretty good. And then this is like a mint Adansonii. I like the variegated Adansonii, but we'll see. Hopefully it's putting out a new leaf there, so I'm excited to see it. I wrapped the root up against the pole now on my painted lady, and it's starting to root in, so I'm excited about that. And I really love the newest leaf it put out. It's got like some sectoral variegation to it. My Monstera Tycon, I repotted it yesterday in a Leca Pond mix and instantaneously started pushing out a new growth point. This is like a 13 leaf Alocasia Tiny Dancer. Some of these leaves here are struggle bussing. They'll eventually lose those leaves, but for now it looks good. My Monstera Albo recovered from thrips and we didn't lose any leaves, luckily, but I finally am able to reintroduce her back into my collection. Okay, this is exciting because I think my transitioning from soil to Leca video should be out by the time I'm recording this. But you guys, it put out like this little baby leaf and now it's already putting out like a bigger leaf behind it. And then this one's getting all swollen and like I can see that the root system looks really nice. So like this transition from soil to Leca has went really well. And I love this plant. I do have ladybugs, as you can see. I released those into just my plant room. And then I have the cucumaris mites. These mites are good for spider mites and thrip larvae. So that's why I specifically bought those tops. This one is also in my soil to semi-hydro transition. This leaf was new. This leaf is new. And then the growth points look really great. If I pull this out of here, which I'm not going to, the roots look awesome, just like they did on the last video. Here is this beautiful Syngonium aria, one of my favorite plants. Here is my Scott Moranium or Scott Morianum. It's putting out a new leaf now. Can't wait to see it. This is its newest leaf here. And that spotting is just because I had sprayed it with some Castile soap, so I need to like spray it off, but I don't want to because I don't want my mites to get washed off. Here is my variegated Frydek, and it's putting out a big leaf there, so that leaf will be comparable to like this leaf and that leaf. It had like a white leaf mostly, and I cut that off because it started doing this. I don't know if you can see, but it was like way worse than this. So I think this leaf is going to be like fine, but the other leaf was kind of, what do you call it, is like melting looking. And then there's like tons of little pups in here. I think there's 3 additional plants in here. And the leaves are all looking beautiful on them. This one's like a half moon. Such a pretty leaf. And I repotted the Syngonium Galaxy Panda into like a taller vessel. I had cut like a leaf off of this side and a leaf off of that side, so it left me quite a bit of stem I felt like would be beneficial to like a root into that substrate. This is also just such a beautiful variegated plant. Okay, so my Marble Queen is sizing up beautifully. This is its newest leaf that is just put out, and then it's putting out another leaf already. This plant is popping off this fall. It kind of, I mean, it grew during the summer for sure, but it's really taken off this fall for me. And then that leaf right there is the newest leaf on the second vine, and that is a beautiful leaf. This is that Pictus tricolor, and it hasn't rooted yet, but there's like little nubs, like the roots are about to start, and it's just in water. There is the one and only corm that I raised into like a, so far, like teenager plant from my other tiny dancer. This Hoya polyneura is looking beautiful. These are the newest mature leaves. It's already putting me some leaves out there, and the single leaf cutting that I got it as is putting out another vine there. So it's starting to be a plant instead of a cutting. This is my Syngonium T25, I think. And it caught spider mites, and I washed it down and then isolated it and just returned it to my collection recently with some mites on it. Here is my Florida Beauty cutting, and it's recently just put out this cute little leaf behind it. That's the first leaf it's put out for me. My Hoya obovata, it looks good, but I think it was like a 3-leaf cutting. I think it stopped there. And then it gave me that leaf and that leaf and that leaf really quickly. And then ever since then, it's like chilled out. So we're just here, we're just waiting. My Florida Ghost is looking beautiful. It's giving me another leaf there. I think I'm gonna get like one of those acrylic stakes and start training it up the acrylic stake. My Dischidia ovata is looking beautiful. I took a lot of cuttings off of this. They're in my prop box and they're already rooted. I just need to get the chance to like reinsert them into this plant. But like, I put this over here, like under here, because I don't want it to touch the scroll light. My little ring of fire, so I got rid of the other ring of fire at a plant swap. This is the only one I have now, and I'm gonna take this because it's in just pure leca. I'm going to repot this soon, but I don't plan on getting any more of these. I mean, this is a beautiful plant, and I'm gonna try to raise this one, but the other one, getting rid of it didn't hurt my feelings. And then I know that they're coming out pretty cheap at Kroger now, but I don't need another one. I just need to get this one to live its life. And then look at this, y'all. It's growing. It's super slow, but it looks so healthy. And it's put out like 3 leaves in my care. They're curly and variegated. So this is the Carnosa compacta variegated. Okay, so here's my Dischidia Million Hearts variegated. My Hoya and a violet. My Chinghungensis is growing all over the place. Look at that little ladybug. My Endoensis is back here, and then this is cuttings from my Australis Lisa, which is here. So this plant is beautiful. I still love it, but before I cut it, all of the leaves kind of looked uniform like this, and they were like small and kind of like thicker. And now that I cut it, the new growth, the vine, everything growing on this vine, they're like thinner and like way bigger. So, I mean, like, you can see just like the clear difference. I'm not mad at it. It's just I wasn't expecting that to happen. And I mean, it doesn't look like that's happened down here, so we'll see. Behind it is my variegated cari. There's like a new leaf forming right there, and right there. So we'll see how that turns out. My variegated cari has been kind of like hit or miss for me on whether or not the leaves drop. Here is my super silver. My public calyx. This is my just silver splash that I took some cuttings off of, and it's bloomed right there in the back. Just show you how like kind of big it is, and I just like cut this for the swap. Look at this one, Macrophylla. She's put like 5 leaves out, and like she's putting one out there. That one you can tell is fresh. She's got a vine going up, like she's getting thick. This is my Hoya Sunrise. This is like actually a healthy leaf. It's just like super sun stressed. Look at the pretty leaves. It's growing. Here is my Parasitica Black Margin. Here's my thick and very variegated Crimson Princess. Is this alive? It is. I've never had a leaf go like all that dark. I think it's just getting like different sun ever since it's turned fall. This is my variegated Hoyas. Here is my Latifolia. It hasn't put out a new leaf in a while, but there is my Sigillatus. My Incrusata has put out like all of these new leaves that don't look like the original leaves. Like it's all not as highly variegated, but I'm just happy it's growing. And then my Linearis. Okay, my string of turtles, I finally cut off all the blooms. So we'll see how that goes. There's my second one. And then here is my string of pearls. And here is my string of hearts. Okay, so here's my little corner that I put these plants that I'm not sure what I want to do with. This is just heartleaf philodendron cuttings. I cut my mother plant up and had a bunch of cuttings. This is my silver sword that I cut from like a big plant, and then I rehomed the big plant, and this is the cutting. So it's like rooted in here in this leca, and that's fine, but I think I'm gonna try to get it to root here and then like get a lot of that stem gone and then plant like a shorter plant, but while still trying to maintain this maturity of it. That Ficus lyrata, I took a top cut of what I had outside and I have it in stratum to root. These 2 containers have majestic roots in them, and I'm just trying to see if growth points will pop up or not. And then this is variegated heartleaf cuttings that I had in a prop box. And I put a pole there so that I could like eventually grow it up the pole, but they look a little janky right now, so I just wasn't ready to put them out with any of my plants. Okay, lastly, I forgot a few because they're kind of outliers. So this on this top shelf is the variegated heartleaf that those cuttings came from. So I guess technically this is my mother plant, and it's just really up high, so I like never think about it, but I do appreciate this plant. I think it's very beautiful. Over here is my Orbifolia. It's putting out a leaf there and there. I put it away from all these lights because it doesn't really require highlight, so I don't want to mess it up. And then one plant that I forgot to show you is my Peace Lily Jessica. It is so beautiful. I don't know that I can have any more peace lilies because this one's just so perfect. I love it. It's putting out a new leaf there, as you can tell. And then this is my brandiatum. You guys know I have this in a terrarium. I hate to say this because ever since I've had the terrarium, I've like kind of been ignoring this because as it continues to give me crap growth like that, it just makes me not want to care for it. And it's also up high, so I like forget about it. But I'm either going to chop this the rest of the way up and put it like down in another terrarium maybe, or just rehome this because it's not getting the care it deserves with me. And then I forgot to show you the Hoya coronaria pink. So I think when this flowers, it's supposed to be pink, but I just wanted to show you, like, it is vining all the way up my setup. Numerous vines. I think it's got 2 that are all the way up now. And then like overhead to there for both of them. So like, I don't know if I can get this in like a single shot. But like, yeah, that is the fastest growing Hoya that I have. It just constant. And I don't know, I think I'm just gonna keep it like going like this and just keep it going around my little setup. Okay guys, so this corner plant is my philodendron black cardinal. I'm not sure if that ID is correct, but that's just what it was sold to me as at like a legit plant shop, and it was super early into my collecting, so I don't know, but it's put out this new leaf for me recently. It's putting out that leaf. There's 2 separate plants there, and then there's a 3rd plant. This is the newest leaf, but it always lags behind. It's like the smaller plant in this pot. I would really miss this plant if it wasn't in my collection. I always love how it looks. It gets south facing light from this window here. My fishbone cactus is there. It's grown so much there this year. Both of these plants need repotted, but I don't want to talk about it. Here is my little entrance foyer situation. My Peru is, you know, Peruing. My Adansonia, I'm not going to put this one on a pole. It's killing me because just like, look how it just wants to climb. Like, it's looking so beautiful. That's actually staked up on one of those acrylic stakes, but it's like getting too big. Like, it's gonna need something else, or I'm gonna have to chop it. But this is my Syndapsus exotica, and it's looking great. And then here is the golden pothos that it looks super nice and full. And then above that is my neon pothos looking bushy. This is my Hartley philodendron. This is my mother plant. It's also like above the stake that I have it in, so I've just been cutting the top every time. All these plants need repotted, because I need to add in the cuttings to this plant, but like, it's been in here for all year and I just know it's root bound. Same thing with the neon pothos. Like, it's in a pretty big pot, but it needs upsized. I'm gonna leave these Hoyas alone. The Curtesia has grown. It's like wrapping around itself. Same thing with the, what is this? Hoya Crimson Princess. It's growing new vines constantly. And I find that Hoyas don't love to be potted a lot, so I'm going to just leave those alone. Okay, these might be backlit if I give you like a different view. Like, this doesn't look that great, I think this looks probably better. But this is my Ripsalis capilliformis. This is my string of dolphins. I repotted that, not on camera. It was a struggle, and I used a lot of tree fern fiber in it because I ran out of soil. And that is my Hoya Bertonier. It is so lush. It won't, like, if it gets length to it, it's going to be insane. Here is my Hoya Multiflora. It is so big. It's bloomed. There's a bloom there as well. And then this is what the blooms look like before they actually turn to flowers. I sat my terrarium here. There's a root. That's what like all the roots look like. I'm trying to find some. There's one. But they're like working their way down. So this is working out really well. And like it's not always this foggy. I think it's because it's like early morning right now as I'm taping. So this is my, I don't remember what this is called. Syndaxis, just like, it's like the basic one. Like, but it's just growing so great. And like Leca, it just looks so wonderful. This is my watermelon peperomia. I did take her out of dirt and transitioned her to pond, and she seems to be happy now. It took a while to get there though, to be honest. Here is my gigantium. Here is my little variegated Schefflera arboricola or something like that. Down there is my philodendron Birkin. So you guys, after you get so many plants, you are literally just astounded that you remember. My favorite peperomia that I own, my peperomia frost. Here is my beautiful philodendron Brazil. And here is where this moss pole ended up. I know I had it like in my foyer, but I ended up not liking it there. And then this looked good here, just like to my eye, so I left it. It grew above my pole and I chopped it there. So I do have a cutting somewhere in water, but here is the newest leaf for the second vine. And that's the newest leaf for the third and slowest vine. So eventually I think that vine will grow up this way and kind of fill that out a little more. But I'm liking the way that this looks right now. And then this pile of dirt here is the bottom of the Pictus tricolor. And I kept it because it looks like there, and there's like some little growth points. There's one as well, and then like there's one as well. So I didn't want to get rid of this quite yet because I'm not sure what's going to happen, but it needs to not sit here anymore. I just don't know what else to do with it. Okay, lastly, I have my bookshelf here, and this is the Enjoy or Pearls and Jade. I just don't know what this is. Glacier, like there's so many names, but this is the original plant that I got. It was a pretty slow grower, and this is what's on that pole that's upstairs. This is the mother to that. Here is my huge neon pothos, which I up potted into a big 8-inch planter. Eventually I'll show you guys, but you'll be proud. I left it in soil. I did take it out of the like big box store soil it was in, and now it's in like a nice chunky mix, and it has done fine with the pot up. And then I don't know how this is gonna look. My big Florida green, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's like Lots of new growth. I'm gonna get that down. Just give me a second. There's my little Halloween centerpiece situation. But like, okay, this Florida green is beautiful. This is one of those plants that's like your common plant, but it's such a nice specimen that you are just amazed by it and you just love it. So like this leaf here, oh my goodness. And this leaf here, just like perfection. And so like this is the newest leaf, but that's not the vine that the big growth is coming off of. There's 2 vines in here. So this leaf is coming out and that's the big vine leaf. And then there's like a new growth point here and it's gonna put out a big leaf there as well. So like this plant, just how much I love it. I know like in my earlier videos that I was like, oh yeah, the ghost, fine. Oh yeah, like Florida Beauty, fine. But like this plant just got so beautiful that like it inspired me to just get others similar to it. And I think that I'll love them just as much if they grow half as beautifully as this, because I love this plant. Also in my kitchen, I have some cuttings. This is a spider plant. I've never had one. This I ended up getting from the swap, which is funny because it's a super common plant. It's got some roots there. And then this is the Baltic blue. 2 of the leaves kind of started to brown, so I just tossed them because I don't need like a lot of this. And so you can see that there is some roots and some growth points on these. They're almost ready to like get potted up. And then this is the cuttings from my moss pole, Stiltopecana, Monstera Stiltopecana. And just some neon pothos cuttings. And then I cut up the rest of my what is that? Tradescantia zebrina. I took some cuttings just to like give away free at the swap. And then I just decided to cut the rest of my plant and like start over. So these are going to be like fresh cuttings for my new plant. Okay guys, here's my living room. And these windows are northwest facing. So like sometimes the light in here is like fine depending on the season. That's why I just don't keep like a ton of plants in here. But this is a grow bulb I switched out so that like these plants could get some light. This is my Peperomia verticillata. It was one of my first plants and I just think it looks unique, so I like haven't gotten rid of it. It's like probably my second favorite Peperomia. My Calathea rattlesnake is down here. And still no new growth, still the same. It's kind of like my cat's plant, to be honest. I eventually want to try to get the soil off of this and put it in semi-hydro and just see if that like does anything for the plant. So I'm going to make a to-do list. That's going to be another video. This is some sort of Sansevieria, or it might have been reclassed. I'm not quite sure. But, and it has a little voodoo doll behind it for Halloween. And then my little witch hat, and then my little pumpkins. But usually this is where my Tradescantia zebrina goes. But like I said, I cut it up. This is my ZZ plant who's just popping off and like contorting itself to face this door to get some light. My Micans is fine. It's not the fastest growing here, like in this particular lot, but I'm happy with what this plant's giving, so I'm fine with that. My Welfin is down here. It needs repotted. This Sansevieria or reclass is here. It needs repotted. And then my Maranta, we've not been doing the best here lately. I chopped it and then I was kind of lazy and just threw the cuttings back down into it to see if they'd root, and they didn't. So it's a little smaller than usual, but I'm okay with how this is looking. And then a plant that you guys haven't seen here before is my regular Monstera deliciosa. This lived outside for the summer and I like highly neglected it. So the fact that it looks like this is great. I took a top cut off of it because the rest of the plant was like shady. And then I shoved it into this vase and just kept it in water. So it's been this way probably about 2 months or so now. And it's given me a leaf right here. So I was like kind of shook by that because I figured, I mean, like it's probably a good 3 feet away from that door. And it went from like living outside to like in here, which is a much lower light situation. And to be honest, I like threw it in some water. There's just roots. Because I was just like, this is going to sound terrible. I didn't really care if this survived. I just knew that it would look good here in water for like a long period of time. And I did end up putting some nutrition in the water because I like started feeling bad. So it's got like my normal 3-step general hydroponics nutrients in there. So maybe that's why she's living life. But she's giving me another leaf. And my husband really loves this plant here. Even though, like, if you back up, she looks a little extra. But my ZZ was looking a little extra. So I feel like it offset it, like, pretty well for now. I'm going to have to do something, though, because even the ZZ's getting a little out of control. And if it does what it did last year, it's going to pop off in growth, like, right after the winter and like right before spring, and it's going to need to up pot from this because it's like a really shallow pot. And then this is also going to have to find a more permanent home, but I just like what it's doing right now. Okay guys, so that is my video for October updates. Took you upstairs down to the foyer, here in the computer room and throughout my living room. You guys comment below and let me know which one of your favorite plants look the best or the worst, or what your expectations were for my collection, especially if you've been watching from like the intro to my collection videos, because quite a few of those plants are different. I have the what was it? Calathea White Fusion is still in its little box. I didn't show that, but it's not really done anything since. It's not completely dead yet, but there's no true update, which is why I didn't show anything. If you guys don't care to subscribe here to Kentucky Plant Daddy, and I'm going to link my stuff below for Instagram like I always do, please go over there and follow me. I post there more frequently than I do here. And I'm not sure what the next video will be. I've been wanting to cut back a few of my Hoyas, so maybe it'll be like a chopping up some of my Hoyas video. But you guys will just have to pop on and see what the next video is looking like. I hope you guys have a great next few days, and I will see you guys in the next one.